All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I normally don't do this stack that often. I literally covered these a couple days ago, but there are some interesting things happening on the market, and I thought it was well worth updating these ones because I know that these are relatively popular. I am moving out NVOS and I'm putting in VIRI. NVOS just pisses me off so much. I can't believe we can't break that damn downtrend. So if there's enough time, maybe I'll cover it in the end, but I at least wanted to say that. But look, MVIS, one of the things I talked about on the last video was I did not believe we were going to break this 508. I didn't think we were going to break the 20, and that's definitely what happened, and more dramatically than I actually thought it was. So that's really why I do want to talk about this. That's a really devastating couple days of the week. All right. From there, Soundhound, man, I literally called it a beast on my last video, right? So you can see what happens when you lose the 8 and the 20, even on a stock that I consider a beast, you know what I mean? So I think the sell signal was there. Hopefully you saw it before today hit. Look, there was a comment from Just Sharded that he's using this opportunity to actually average up, you know what I mean? So just there's different ways of playing it, right? And then VIRI, you know, is a stock I love. VIRI is what I called actually one of my trades of the year. I actually really wish I threw more money into it, but yeah, it might be doing another move again, right? So excited to talk about the 4, and then like I said, if I've got time at the end, I'll throw in NVOS just to laugh at ourselves a little bit. But what are we gonna do before we get into it? Same thing we always do, right? We're gonna take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to the channel, share this thing on the internet, comment good or bad, like this thing, even thumbs down. I'm sure it does good things to the algorithms, but I swear, just being here and giving me your time is super appreciated, all right? So look, let's get into it. And MVIS, man, for me, the whole story was this 508 line and overall the 20 moving average, all right? I thought it was gonna be very difficult to break this, even though we bounced on the 20 like a champ, you know what I mean? And look, one of the things I said on the video was this was a very indicative V of the NASDAQ. NASDAQ basically does a V on the 28th and goes up. You'll see NASDAQ, sorry, not N, comp Q. You'll see NASDAQ is now starting to do the same 3-day flip as well, right? So NASDAQ does poor, NASDAQ does well, NASDAQ does poor, right? Just remember that. MVIS does poor. MVIS does a little poorer, a little longer than it needed to, but it took the 50 before the bounce, right? And then again, you see the last 3 days of the NASDAQ really hurt this as well. So maybe a stronger NASDAQ would have helped get over this. I don't know. The weekly also corroborated, wow, that was a little bit of a hard word to say. I'm still not at 100% yet, but I'm a lot better than I have been. But look, the 200 on the weekly is basically right at my 508. This 100 moving average is basically at my 508. In all honesty, I mean, I know it's only I guess it's a little further down, but it's 50 cents, 10% lower. But yeah, all 3 of these are basically a stone throw away from that 508, right? So a bunch of stuff on the weekly is going to make it that much harder to break it on the daily, right? And look, it's bad things happen when you're under the 8 and the 20, all right? And there's so many different things you can do with that knowledge, right? But we've lost the 8 here. We've lost both the 8 and the 20 here. We definitely make a good bounce. And yes, we definitely get over the 8, right? But I always say it, you need confirmation. And this does not confirm. This obviously does not confirm. We're now back under both the 8 and the 20, right? So for me, again, we're back at that 50 moving average line. I wasn't sure if we were going to hold it here or drop. I, once again, am not sure if we're going to hold it here or drop, right? It's funny, I don't like it when the MACD and RSI kind of say the same, say different things, right? I actually see a MACD that wants to slip lower into the negative and an RSI that wants to go higher up. These are saying different things, right? End of the day, this matters more. So, you know, tomorrow needs to get back over the 8 at the minimum. At the minimum needs to close at like 417, 410, give or take. Otherwise, I think we're going to lose this 3.8 number. What is the 50 actually at? 390, right? Like I think we're going to hit 385 if I had to guess actually, because again, this doesn't look good. MACD doesn't look good. Volume looks horrible. I'm going to ignore the RSI. I think this is a false reading. I think this being bad, and this being bad is 3 out of 4 being bad. So I could see this coming down here. Now look, it should be very, very difficult to lose both lines. All right. These are the last two. These should be very hard. Theoretically, we should hit these and bounce hard up, all right? And truth be told, it kind of flows with what NASDAQ might do. NASDAQ might lose this, might come as low as this, probably only this low, and then hopefully bounce back up. But that doesn't look great, that doesn't look great, that doesn't look great, right? So MVIS a little worried basically because NASDAQ doesn't look fantastic, okay? So let's see what it looks like. Again, I really see this coming to 315. I think that makes a lot of sense in my head, okay? Man, SOUN, look at this thing, right? And again, we just saw it. If you fast forwarded here, let me start the video by showing, look, NASDAQ has had a really bad 3 days, okay? NASDAQ was unable to bounce as well as I was hoping and keep going. This 13.6, 13.7 line is difficult to say the least, right? And we're basically still over the 8 and the 20, but again, that's not a good MACD, that's not a good RSI, and that's a little scary volume right there, right? So if NASDAQ does poorly, an AI tech stock that's not really proven, right, is not going to do that well. And what sucks is it looks like we might be coming back into the moving averages, right? We've now lost the 8. We've now lost the 20. That's not a good MACD. That is not a good RSI. That's some horrible volume. It seems like we're coming back to 3. Like it really does. And like, that's so sad. And today was horrible. You know what I mean? So yeah, I literally called this thing a beast on Monday, you know what I mean? And man, I'm wildly sad to see this happen. Again, bad things happen under the 8 and the 20. It does, right? And when you lose the 8, you're gonna come down to the 20. The thing is when the spacing is this bad, it becomes a big percentage lost, right? So again, is this a horrible sell it, like, you know, fear? No. Right? Like as long as we're still over some moving averages, you know, theories, you can do whatever you want with it, right? But I could see this coming to 308 and hopefully bouncing. That was the roof right here. Hopefully it's the floor right here, right? Hopefully this has now become a support line instead of what was a resistance line, right? Hopefully we hit the support of the 50 and bounce back up, right? So I think this 308 is going to be a really important number. It should be very difficult to lose this 100, this 290. I think it would be a horrible NASDAQ that brings it to 250, in all honesty. If NASDAQ doesn't recover soon, it would come this low. I could see it hopefully hitting 308 at the lowest and then hopefully getting a really nice bounce up, because green, red could make a nice green back up to 460s, you know what I mean? So yeah, different ways of playing it, but again, just such a horrible 2 days here. No one wants to eat a 16% loss for sure, because let's be honest, that was a big majority of that write-up, right? I think this write-up was roughly a 30% swing and almost half of it went away today, right? Like that's, man, that's sad to say the least, right? So yeah, so and then one more time, NASDAQ, right? You always got to be aware of what NASDAQ's doing. No tech stock is better than the NASDAQ on its own, right? So yeah, where are we on the weekly? Look, we're now coming to the 8, all right? Just like it does on the daily, sometimes we got to come back to the 8 and then bounce back, right? So again, what might be a scary few days actually kind of means nothing on the weekly unless we lose this line. Like I would be very worried. I'd start to get worried if we lose 333 tomorrow, because I don't want to end the weekly chart under the 8. That would actually kind of piss me off if you really want to know the truth. But again, I could see this coming to 308, hopefully early next week, and then bouncing up, right? So SOUN, again, it has been a beast, just sad to see what it's doing, all right? Okay, where is VIRI at? VIRI is at the 50, okay? And I think a lot of what I said in MVIS is probably going to be happening here. I don't believe we're going to get over 160. I am not sure we're gonna get over 160. Okay, MACD is doing its best to circle and stay all right. RSI actually did really well. It went from a high number all the way down to a 30 and might be turning around. Man, I think for me, I'm not in VIRI right now. I did not ride any of this 10% day. I think I need this thing to close over the 20 moving average before I would give it my money. I think this would be my alert right here. 167, 168. Let's do 168. I'll give up that penny. I think 168 is where I would let this thing take my money. I would want to get over that candle right here. I would want to get over that. Yeah, 167. Look, that's also this one right here and pretty much that one right there. Has to close over that. I would not want to wick this. I could see it wicking that, I'll be honest. Same thought I had with MVIS is it looks like the same chart to me too. You come down to the 50, you kind of get over the 8, can't quite get over that 20 and fall back, right? Like that is what I think will happen with VIRI. If it could get over that, clearly the MACD will turn around really well. The RSI will turn around really well. And yeah, I would love to get back because don't forget, there's still a nice little gap fill right here from 2 to 3.6. Sorry, 3.2, 3.6. From $2 to 3.20. And that's a fantastic more than 50% swing, right? So, oof, yeah, I don't know. I think I like my alert actually. Where are we on the weekly? Ooh, interesting. Look, this 166 basically is the 50 and roughly the 10 as well. I like my alert a lot, actually. VIRI, though, I will be honest, I think a lot needs to happen for this thing to get over 161. And look, let's be honest, this is a therapeutic stock, right? That means SP 500 needs to do well. SP 500 is not doing that well. Dow Jones actually looks like shit. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but that's scary right there. I know it looks like a small percentage, but that's a really, really scary candle in my book. You know what I mean? So I think the overall markets aren't good enough for this thing to break the 20. Today was a good day. This was an important bounce on the 50, but I actually don't think it's enough. I could see this coming down to 110 actually still. I'm not buying this thing's going to confirm my opinion. Let's look at MBOT. MBOT's starting to look a little scary right now. I really think MBOT's coming down to this 220. We're now for sure not breaking this 200. I think that is a distant memory. We could not get over the 8 and we are now under the 20. It just makes sense that we're going to come to the 100. We should not lose this 50, all right? I really, really hope we do not come to 211 or worse, but yeah, that's not looking like a good MACD. That's not the best RSI, and again, volume's just been pretty pathetic in all honesty, right? So it's all about, if this thing can get over the 200, this thing will fly, all right? So MBOT's looking a little shaky. Ooh, that's not a doji I like, and in all honesty, this might, yeah, I can see this coming down to 219, 218, which I think was this number right here. Yeah, exactly. So I think we're coming down here for sure, but I don't think we'll lose the 50. Let's throw in NVOS just to look at this thing. Yeah, how frustrating is this? Looks like it's gonna break, instead it does this. Like, just wildly, wildly, wildly frustrating, all right? 15 is the magic number. Really, it's 16. And once this thing closes at 16, I think it might be a different game. But this is just so annoying, so frustrating, and like, oh my gosh, I hate moving average clusters. So it is what it is. But hey, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, as always, thank you.